Hey y'all, this is Dr. Nash with the Garden of Nash, and I want to talk to y'all about 20 plants that you can start right now in April. It's not too late, so definitely stay tuned. Remember, check us out, other videos, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you're getting the knowledge, and drop a comment below. Watch a couple of videos and share some with your friends, and stay tuned. Here we go. Let's get to it. It is April, finally. I don't know about y'all, but I've been waiting on springtime for so long. It feels like this winter took forever, but we are finally here and we are back. Welcome to the channel if you've never been. I'm in the zone 7B, 8A in the Georgia area. I'm a techie and I love to garden. Been gardening for over 6 years now and want to share more about my gardening journey and really just help people start their garden. So it's something that's very passionate to me. I got a full-time job outside of this, but whenever I can, I'm out here trying to get some knowledge and trying to pass on some knowledge. And please, if you are just now getting ready to start a garden, or you're interested in any particular thing you want me to do a video about, feel free to drop in the comments what you want the topic to be. And we also can feel free to look back at some of my old videos. Been at this for a little while, so there's a lot of stuff out there for you to catch up on. So, getting to the point today, what are we talking about? What to plant in April. And I have so many things here that I want to talk to you all about and share with you about a whole 20 plus plants that you can start right now in April. It's not too late. I love experimenting with different things that I haven't tried before. So this time I'm going to talk to you about the vegetables and the fruits as well as the flowers. And so really, let's get into it. Now, cucumbers, I love. These you can actually plant. Since we're after our frost date, you want to make sure that you are in the clear. And I know different regions, different zones. You can look up your USDA zone. You can literally look it up and figure out which zone you're in if you're not for certain. But I'm in the zone 7B, 8A area. That represents different climates and different, weather patterns. And so also remember that you can have different weather patterns in your yard. So even though you're in zone 8A, you can have certain areas in your yard that have more shade or are more cool or are more hot because they have direct sun, and they can actually have a different zone associated with it. So keep that in mind, that even though you have seeds packets that have different recommendations on the back. So today, most of these seeds are from Botanical Interest. They didn't promote me or anything to say that, but most stores carry that, most nurseries, and as well as your big box stores. But here we have an heirloom cucumber. This is actually the Telegraph Improved cucumber. This one did pretty well for me in the past. I built a whole trellis, so make sure you put this in an area that actually has a good trellis. And so that's that one right there. And we're gonna get that one started. Now the recommendation is 1 to 2 weeks after your average frost date, which was about a week ago for us. So this is perfect timing for that. Now, of course, these recommendations are just that, recommendations. So it may or may not be the best time, but that's where we're here. You can start. Now, all of these, because we're after our frost date, you can sow all these directly into the ground, right? All right, so number 2, we have quinoa. Now, I've never planted quinoa before, but I'm hoping that this is something that'll grow. I've just recently gotten into quinoa for just trying to find healthier options instead of like carbs. And I hear that it's really good to just replace those things. And it's actually really pretty too. So we'll look into that. Also, number 3, we have the bean pole yard long Orient Wonder. So this is actually a green long bean. This actually grows on a pole. So you're going to want to make sure you have room to actually put poles around. I actually have a couple in the garden. You see one back there. There's actually one over here to the side as well. But you can use those. Now, my 4th one here is number 4, the bean bush, the Royal Burgundy. So I love these because I'm a purple girl, right? And so these beans are literally purple. And these did really well for me last year. Again, these grow up a pole. but these are actually the bush beans. And so which means that these are organic, but they're actually a different variety that grows less up a pole and more out instead of up. So these are two different types of beans that can potentially grow. All right, number 5, we have the melon. The melon is a cantaloupe, hearts of gold. I love melon, watermelon, all that. I'm not gonna start my watermelon just yet, because I know they like it when it's really hot outside, but I've never tried to grow cantaloupe, so we're gonna give it a shot. This is the melon, cantaloupe, musk melon, hearts of gold, so we'll give it a shot. All right, number 6, we have our winter squash. So our winter squash, which I can't even pronounce, the kabocha, this is actually something that it should be able to be sown within 2 or 3 months. And so that's actually pretty good for a squash. I also have a couple of other squash plants over here. Some zucchini squash that I bought straight from a nursery or from a farmer's market. I also have some other ones over here. So we can put them side by side and see which one grows the best. But these are gonna be, melons are gonna have long vines. So you wanna also make sure you have trellises for those as well. Now, these next ones here, I say number 7 is the tomato, a pole tomato. Now, I've never heard of a pole tomato, so when I saw this, I was like, okay, let's try it, because that's what we're all about in the Garden of Nash, experimenting. So this is a Brandywine red and yellow blend pole tomato, and it sows, pretty well 1 to 2 weeks after your frost date. And so we're gonna get this one in the ground, and hopefully within a month or 2 we'll start to see tomatoes. I also have a couple of other tomatoes over here that I bought. Now, y'all remember last year our tomatoes were doomed because of our hornworms. So I have something special, another video coming up to show you how we're gonna help build up the plant's immune system to come. So stay tuned for that. But so far, we have the 7 plants. Now, number 8 is also a tomato, but this is actually the bush cherry tomato, cherry fall. So these are smaller tomatoes. I like to eat these on salads and put a little, salt and pepper, some cucumbers, a little bit of red onion, and hey, you got yourself a full-fledged salad, a great appetizer meal, something that you can really use to really brighten up, eat more healthier as well with salads. And you want to grow stuff that you actually like to eat, right? And so what I normally do is I put the tomatoes in a similar bed. Now, some tomatoes and some plants, you can't necessarily plant them close together, like peppers, for example, which I have over here. So we might as well make peppers number 9. So I have a couple of peppers over here. This one right here is a sweet banana pepper. And then number 10 can be our bell pepper. So we have the California Wonder bell pepper here. And so this is something that I bought to go ahead and kind of jumpstart. Nothing wrong with buying plants if you appreciate where they're from. So that's number 10. Now, let's switch over to flowers. So these beauties I have right here, these hydrangeas. Now, purple and blue, that's actually my wedding colors. I love purple and blue together. I haven't been able to grow hydrangeas in the past. It's actually been my fault because I've always misplaced them. Remember, hydrangeas grow in the shade. And so my previous years, I had them up there actually on the hill. The trick is, up there on the hill, they actually get a lot of sun in the summertime, but they're in shade during this season. As of right now, you can see that it's kind of already starting to be shaded by those branches up there. I'm actually gonna cut some of those branches, but I wanna make sure I put these actually in a better area that's more shaded, which is actually on each side of the back patio of the house. So I'll be able to get that. Okay, so that was number 11, the hydrangeas. So we have number 12, our tried and true calendula, pot marigold, or called a resina. Now these things, you probably remember us planting these. Now these are very good for co-planting because they actually help repel pests. And so you plant these right next to some of your vegetables, it helps make everything a lot better for you in terms of repelling pests. Also, remember that the co-planters, these flowers, they actually help you to bring more bees into your garden, more pollinators, more hummingbirds. And remember our video on the hummingbird feeder, so we're gonna get the hummingbird feeder back out here pretty soon too. And so once we do that, we'll have, yeah, so we'll be able to get the pollinators out here to help pollinate some of our plants that need pollination, such as your cucumbers and your melons, those things that don't self-pollinate. Now peppers and tomatoes, most of the time, those will self-pollinate, so you don't have to worry about those too much. All right, so we have, that was number, I think I lost count. Let's say that's number 10, 11, 12. That was number 12. Now, number 13, we're gonna go for the nasturtium, the butterscotch nasturtium. Now, you can actually eat these, but these actually have very sweet blossoms and they bring a lot of pollinators. So I've seen a lot of my gardeners that I follow plant these. So, you know, go check out those. Some of those people, Farm Unique, Salty Dog Homestead, Yellow Door Homestead. I love watching those people out the box, growing out the box. So all those are my folks that I like to follow, James Prigioni. And so in my gardener, man, we could go on and on. There's so many of those people, the millennial gardener. So I'm hoping to live up to that one day. But nasturtiums are another thing that we like on the flower side. Now we also have the number 14. This is a blue, Cambridge blue lobelia. Now, I've never seen this before. I've never grown this before. I'm hoping that I can get this to really work for me in the garden. Now, this is something that kind of grows. It says it's perfect for any spot in the garden, hanging in baskets, containers, window boxes. It seemed like an easy crop, easy enough to grow, so we're gonna give it a shot. All right, number 14, we actually have two of these, the Cosmos. So we actually have a Rabenza Cosmos and a Sensation Blend Cosmos. Again, these flowers attract a lot of pollinators. One gets 3 to 6 inches tall, the Cosmos Sensation Blend. Now the Rabenza Blend is actually 24 to 32 inches tall, but they have blooms throughout the summer. So again, things to keep those pollinators coming. All right, so we'll count that as 14 and 15 for both of those. All right, so number 16, this is my mom's favorite, one of my mom's favorite, and my grandmother, great-grandmother. Number 16, we have coming in here, the zinnia. This is actually the Peruvian blend. And so this is, gets about 2 or 3 feet tall. Again, attracts a lot of pollinators, butterflies even. And so looking forward to having that. Now, if I remember correctly, these like to bloom a little bit later in the summer. So you want to have that succession of lots of plants and flowers blooming in order to keep all the pollinators coming back for your plants. All right, number 17, actually one of my favorites, is the sunflower. This is actually an evening sun sunflower, so it has like a reddish tint. And hopefully this one actually grows. I haven't been able to get it in a place that gets a lot of sun, so I'll make sure I'm be extra targeted with this one here. Now, I'm gonna create some more beds in the garden, and so these areas that get a lot more sun that I notice in the summer, I'm gonna be able to plant them in there because I'm gonna be able to get a lot more sun through the majority of the summer. The beds that I planted down here, actually the one that I'm sitting in right now, this one actually did not get a lot of sun towards the latter part of the summer because I planted these when I first looked at these. So I did a video short recently about how to make sure that you're tracking how the sun moves across your yard, because it changes. All right, so that's 20 plants that we recommend growing right now in April. It's not too late, you're actually kind of early, so definitely take that into consideration. Drop a comment and let us know what plants you're growing right now. But remember, the more you grow, the more you know. This is Dr. Nash with the Garden of Nash. Have you started your garden yet?